All
Sorry,
right,
I thought I hit record, but maybe you had to be the host. My
there we
apologies.
go. Welcome
Don't
everybody.
worry, the NSA has probably got us taped.
There we go. All right, welcome everybody to the summer convention for the Pacific Green Party. We are doing our nominating right now, and we've got some other things to cover at this convention. So our agenda, pretty simple. We're going to start with a welcome. That's where we are now. We're going to have a land acknowledgement, do a little update on the annual national meeting coming up. Have a few announcements to be made. And then we are welcoming Mike Feinstein as our keynote speaker. He's going to tell us some of the successes that he's been through. We've got several candidates that we need to introduce to you so that you can nominate them for the ballot. And then we're going to have a group discussion talking about how we want to be on the ballot ourselves as the Green Party. And then we'll have some closing remarks to close out the day. So with that in mind, let's start with the land acknowledgement. So in the spirit of truth and equity, it is with gratitude and humility that we acknowledge that we are gathered on sacred homelands. These include the 9 federally recognized tribes in what we now call Oregon. That's the Burns Paiute tribe, Confederated Tribe of Coos, Lower Umpqua, and Siuslaw, Coquille Indian Tribe, Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians, Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, the Klamath Tribes, Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians, Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Indian Reservation, and the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs, as well as many other Native communities who have historically made regions their home, even if they're not nationally recognized. We recognize that this land was taken by violence and that exploitation and injustice persists. In the system of laws and government, in the influence of big money and an antiquated electoral system, and in latent attitudes and prejudices against historically marginalized and oppressed people. So we take this time to thank the ancestors, spirit, God, or simple kindness for guidance in ensuring that our thoughts and intentions during this meeting reflect mutual respect and compassion. But let's make it more than words. I'm going to turn it over to Amy to tell us a little bit about some of the options that we have. You there, Amy?
You might have to unmute yourself, Amy.
No?
Okay, now we've got it.
There we go.
Sorry.
What I, oh no, that's all right. I knew it would take a
Josiah,
minute.
could you make Amy a co-host? The reason why that was a hiccup is because I muted everybody who
Oh,
wasn't.
there you go. Yep, yep, yep. All right.
Sorry about that.
Oh, thank you. I'm just going to go ahead and paste in some further reading, listening, investigation people might want to do. It's a big internet and there's no way I could do it all, but I will add a few things and I'll try to space them out every few minutes so people aren't overwhelmed. But by all means, click open a tab and do a deep dive later. It's it's always illuminating for me to understand the real history of the state, which unfortunately there's a lot of ugly here. And as Justin pointed out at earlier conventions and in numerous links that he shared, we need to strive to make it more than just a pledge. So thanks. I'll go ahead and do that as we go along.
All right. Thanks, Amy. So we've got the land acknowledgement taken care of. So that moves us on to the national meeting. So I'm going to be attending the national meeting in Chicago. Just happened to happen right while I was doing my vacation. So that will be working out great. They've got a great lineup, and you can also sign up by tomorrow. You can do remote, so you can zoom in and catch all the great speakers. Jill Stein, Butch Ware are a couple of the big speakers, but they've got dozens of different breakout groups, and we're looking forward to a lot of good things. Justin, you have anything else about the A&M?
Also, Shama Sawant, who has been recently endorsed by the Green Party of Washington, so a good example of some leftist solidarity building, and Medea Benjamin from Code Pink, and also a former Green candidate. those should be a couple of good ones as well.
A little feedback on that. This is going to be the first time since COVID that we are meeting in person after meeting every year in person from 1989 through 2019. And then with Shama, not only is she endorsed by the Green Party of Washington, but their party bylaws say that they only endorse party members, or for non-party members, they have a preference statement. Well, Shama apparently rejoined the Green Party in Washington on July 4th. She apparently had been a member a long, long, long time ago. So she is now a Green Party member running for the House as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks, Mike. All righty, so that's just a quick update on the national meeting. So that brings us up to, actually, we've got some announcements first. Go ahead, Justin, you had some things you wanted to cover?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to make an announcement. We had an open seat on our state coordinating committee. That seat, the state coordinating committee voted, and they have appointed Matt Rao from Coos in Coquille over on the coast. He'll give us some geographical representation over there on the coast, and he's very eager to get to work. And he's already been working trying to help us recruit candidates. So welcome to the state coordinating committee, Matt. And just a reminder for the members, our elections for internal leadership positions like the state coordinating committee, that will be in January. I believe we've got it penciled in for the third week in January. But when you get your ballot at the end of the conclusion of our meeting, we'll include a vote to finalize that date. So yeah, we've got a full 7-member state coordinating committee, but we'll have 3 or 4 of those seats up for election in January. So please run. Please consider serving your state party. Thanks.
All right, so that brings us to Matt Feinstein. I'll go ahead and turn it over to him.
Great. I think you have a slide there with my background.
Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. Share that. Yeah, so introducing Mike. Come on, there we go. Former mayor and city council member in Santa Monica, co-founder of the Green Party of California, California Secretary of State candidate for this year, as well as in 2018. And he does our elections database for the Green Party of the United States. So I will turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you. I understand that I'll speak for about 15, and then we have question and answer. It can be very, very fluid and flexible. If there's something that totally is unclear while I'm speaking at the beginning, just raise your hand if there's a term or something. So I've been involved since October 1988. So I've seen a long expanse with our history, both in the United States and internationally, as I've been probably the person who's probably had the most exposure to Green parties in other countries as well. And what I can say from all of that is that the Green Party political movement is a global response to the unsustainability of our lifestyle as a species, taking the green movement issues and values and to try and bring those into the electoral arena based in social movements and responding to the inadequacy of traditional political parties that have a worldview built more on unlimited consumption, finite resources, and how that leads to concentration of wealth and power. And we're often alternative, not only from a development and economic standpoint, but to the xenophobic and racist scapegoating that often goes when there are failing economic systems. So we have this interesting place, and people talk about the Green Party as a expression of that adage about think globally and act locally. And what I want to focus on is that portion where we think globally and run locally. running for local political office. Oh, there's Matt. He's coming in. Okay, a couple others here that we're letting in. Hi, Matt. Welcome. I just mentioned that I'm going to be talking a bit about how the Green Party is a think globally and run locally political movement. My experience in Santa Monica, being elected twice to the city council, is really a textbook example of how successful green campaigns can work. We try and run based in community activism, in social movements, flowing out of those movements, representing those movements, and having the credibility in your community first, having served in some form, whether you're on your neighborhood organization board or some nonprofit in your community. Maybe you got appointed to an advisory board or commission in town. All those different types of backgrounds. And in my case, in the Ocean Park neighborhood of Santa Monica, we had what was called a Main Street Advisory Committee of merchants, property owners, and residents. And we were tasked by the city council to do an update on the permitted uses on Main Street. And what ended up coming out of that coalition of very different interests was an agreement to change us from 4 lanes which was a lot of pass-through fast traffic on this neighborhood commercial street, to 2 lanes, 2 bike lanes, integrated public transit. And what that showed me was that getting involved in local government can bring about a green policy agenda. And that gave me some faith and long-term belief that being in the system can achieve. Obviously, it has to be inside outside strategy, but you can achieve good things by being in the system. So that convinced me to be active. And then a couple of years later, the Rand Corporation, which some of you may have known about from post-World War II, a think tank that often did a lot of military planning for the United States. They had a headquarters in Santa Monica and had the rights to do big development. Our city council had approved a big development right across from City Hall that was going to bring in a commercial office park, excuse me, and the Rand headquarters up to 84 feet high, a block from the beach. There was a resident referendum against the city council decision to do that, and I was the public face of that referendum and that fight against that development. And while we lost that ballot measure, that referendum, we were outspent $250,000 to 5,000 by Rand. The next electoral cycle, I ran for city council, 13 candidates for 4 seats. I finished second overall as a first-time candidate, ahead of 3 incumbents. I was first on election day. It was the absentee votes earlier, more conservative. So that happened because I had been based in this community activism around that issue and had the credibility and the alliances that swept me into office. And people saw me as an expression of that local movement. And then a couple of years later, when the Rand Corporation was not able to utilize their development rights, they couldn't really get somebody who would take those development rights and build what they wanted. They came back to the city, and I engineered a deal where we bought 11.4 acres for $53 million of their land. And today, instead of an 84-foot high Rand Corporation building, both literally and symbolically standing over City Hall, we have what's called Tongva Park, named after the indigenous people of our region, and this beautiful multi-faceted park that has a variety of different areas for different parts of the community. And then the Rand headquarters was on the rest of their land, but not right out in front of City Hall. And we got it lower and a more eco building. And I actually negotiated with the Rand president where they wanted to build walls around their headquarters in this otherwise civic center public area because they didn't want the great unwashed coming by their national security state offices. But I ended up negotiating with Michael Rich, who actually was an advisor in the Bush administration, to have that as open space. It all worked out. So I bring all that up in that coming out of community activism is critical to being successfully elected. And you've got, I forgot how much, somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 members in your state. How many of them are on advisory boards and commissions? Uh, are you actually taking your voter registration list and going county by county and city by city and seeing who is actually holding some sort of advisory position in town? Because those are people who you can develop into good candidates down the line. And unlike states where there isn't registration by party, you have this pre-selected list of people that you can recruit from. And then when you start getting people elected, for people who you think should be Greens, but often say, well, I can't run as a Green, I'll never get elected, even though it's nonpartisan, the more that you get people elected, the more the possibility of running as a Green and being consistent in your policy and values is something that you can pitch to people who you want to recruit. The other thing I'll mention from my time in office is that when I got in as a Green, there were a lot of people who were like, oh, this guy is just going to be an ideologue and he's just going to be talking about these big, airy-fairy ideas, but can he govern? And just like other traditionally oppressed communities, whether it's women in government or folks of color in government, you often have to do more and be more prepared because of what people expect out of you and whether they'll cut you some slack. So I made sure that I knew my material of every agenda pack better, as equal or better than any of my colleagues. When I showed up at the meetings on Tuesday night, I had talked to staff in advance. If I had amendments that I might make to the staff recommendation, I had checked them out with the staff and the city manager to see what would play or not. And of course, when the agenda comes out, you're touching base with all of the stakeholders in the community. So I was very, very prepared when I got there, and we choose the mayor from within the city council. And when I was reelected to my second four-year term, I was a unanimous choice as mayor of the city. And at that time, it was the largest city in the United States that we had a mayor. And one of the most significant because our daytime population goes up from 93,000 to 250,000, up to 500,000 on weekends. We have a massive budget right now. I think it's 800,000, $800 million because Santa Monica is a regional center. We have an airport, two hospitals, a college, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now I want to jump over to the screen here, and let's go to share and talk a little bit about the broader dynamic we have in terms of running for public office as Greens. There's this page, but I have another one. Let me call it up and hopefully, where is it here? There we go. Okay. Can you guys, you should see too, on the right side, something where it says federal and statewide constitutional, etc.
No.
Don't see that. Okay, let's go down to your screen sharing. Okay. And back to share. And okay. So here we go. All right. So you see that now where it says federal, statewide, constitutional, etc. Okay. This is a breakdown of the number of races all time for Greens in the United States per type of office. 7,362 Greens who have run already or are currently on the ballot. That number will go up when your state party finalizes your list and the people are on the ballot. But as of today, over 7,300 Greens. And you look at those different categories, and I've broken down where for state and federal partisan office, 28-22, or 38% of our races have been for these higher level offices, whether that's for Congress or governor or state legislature, uh, statewide board of education, those sort of things. Then below are the municipal races. About 62% of all of our municipal races have, of our total races have been locally. So when people come and say, oh, all you do is run for president and this Jill Stein doesn't do anything, and we have this bottom up strategy, and we have elected right now at least 1,699 Greens, or 1,699 times. 5 of them were for state legislature, and the other ones have been for lower level offices. And we, in our city council races, We're elected about 25 to 30% of the time. For school board, about 50% of the time. We got a good percentage for county supervisor. And then for special districts like park board, water board, library boards, etc., our winning percentage is even higher. And our percentage of Greens who are incumbents who get reelected is also higher. So I'm going to be producing a finalized link that I will send to your party because I'm making a presentation at the national party meeting next week about our election background, etc. So I'll give these numbers to you in a even more interesting way next week. So now what I want to shift over then to is the where is it? Where is it? Where is it? What happened here? Okay. What I want to shift you over to is, might take me a second here. Why is this not? Let's see. What are you guys seeing now?
Same thing.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think, okay, here we go. Great. Okay.
That is.
So this is going to be the page that is going to have more of the specifics about each type of level that we run for office, what our successes have been over the years, etc. And what I want to touch upon here, where it says running for a local office, is repeating a little bit and building upon why we're running locally and why it's so important. I know you've got your elections next May for a lot of your local offices in the state. So the fact that we are local communities, I spoke about that a bit already. The next point, a bottom-up electoral strategy is sustainable and it builds a base, and we're not just dependent on a big name or celebrity. Remember the Reform Party? Or maybe you don't even remember them anymore. They're gone. Well, you know, Ross Perot, he was there. They all followed him, but they didn't run for local office, and they don't exist. And there have been many parties since the 1980s on the left of center, the Citizens Party in the 80s, the attempt at a Labor Party, the New Party, which now has morphed into the Working Families Party, but isn't an independent party. The 21st Century Party was going to be started by the National Organization for Women. The People's Party that flamed out a couple of years ago. You remember Cornel West went on their ballot for a couple of weeks and then left when he found out some problems with their organizer. So those parties are all gone. But our strategy of running so many people locally is sustainable and it keeps us going. And it's easier for us to get elected on municipal levels than for state and federal for so many different reasons. But one of them is that the role of big money, the districts are smaller and the role of big money is smaller because if you have a reputation in your community, it isn't just dependent upon money who can afford mailers and TV ads the way it is in state and federal offices. So we have a good chance of getting folks elected locally. And I mentioned here, Green incumbents have been reelected 70, 80%. In some of the races, it's 80 to 90%, and I'm going to be having that broke down. But what that's showing is that not only do voters think we have good ideas when we give them the chance to vote for us in our communities, but that we can govern. People send us back to elected office in most cases because we've shown we're in office, we're fine, that we're good, that we can do it. And we've actually had Green City Council majorities. I'll find that in a sec. Then what does this also do for us? The Green parties that are most successful around the world are in countries with proportional representation. And some of the people who are part of the duopoly here who don't want us to have proportional representation because they want to hold on to their duopoly political power will say, oh, you guys just want to change the electoral system because you can't win in this current system. So you're just a bunch of losers. And even though we have good answers to that, that's that appeals. It's an emotional appeal to diss us that they'll throw at us and see if it'll stick. Well, when we have people elected to local office, that is a strong rationale to argue for these higher electoral reforms, because we point to how you can get elected in your community. It's not the same as the higher level. Voters have clearly shown that they like us, they want us, they return us to office. But the system itself makes it hard for voters who want to elect us to do so on these higher levels. So we aren't losers. We have this base, and that shows that it's the system that's the problem, not the Greens. The second thing is you're in a state, Oregon, where people are going to say, well, you are you're getting these folks elected, but it's not on the ballot. It doesn't say Green Party. So it doesn't mean anything because, of course, they want to move the goalpost on us every time. First, we only run for president, then it's only Jill Stein, then blah, blah, blah. So the significance in a state like Oregon or where I live in California, or the 27 in total, I think it's 27 states in which you can register by political party, is that people who are significantly based and talented in their community enough to be able to run for and get elected to political office are choosing to be independent of the duopoly and choosing to affiliate by their legal voter registration in the Green Party. So they are making a statement by saying there's a political party that, even though I'm going to lose some political power by not being part of the one of the two big major parties, I relate to that party platform and its values and the way it does its operations, and want the public to know that in the way I govern. So we've got these people who are choosing us because there are consequences, and they still do it. And that's a very strong statement to be able to say to the public, that these quality folks in the electoral arena are choosing to be Greens. So yes, we may not win the election with a partisan ballot line. There's only a small number of states in which municipal elections are partisan, in particular Connecticut, New York, and Pennsylvania. But it's still very significant for us. And then what do we learn from the Green Party of England and Wales, who right now is pulling off a revolution and replacing the Labour Party in local elections all over the country? Their commitment to running in local offices for their city councils over decades has led them to start winning seats in the House of Commons. They are running for higher level offices in areas where they have either been a substantial council minority, or in some cases have been a council majority. So it's fine that we run for higher level offices, because there are specific advantages to be able to, one, show people what our stances are on issues of state politics and federal politics. Okay, it's my time. So I'll just finish this thought. And then two, that our ballot status often depends upon running for these higher levels. But best to try and do overlapping where we have city council races in the same districts where we're running for higher level offices, and develop those local candidates to run for those higher level offices afterwards. So thanks for your time, and I'm here to answer any questions you'd like. And we can take it off of my screen now. I'll do the stop share.
There you go.
There we go.
No.
Jeremy.
Looks like Jeremy's got a question. Can we?
Yep, there we go. Oh, where'd he go? Shit. How do we there?
All right. Can you hear me?
All right, there we go. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Mike. That was awesome. I'm Jeremy. I'm running for Portland City Council right now in District 4. So that is speaking to me a lot. And if you had any advice for someone running for a nonpartisan position at the municipal level, I don't know. What do you wish you had told yourself the first time that you ran?
Sorry about that. Truck just went by. Okay. Well, why don't we exchange and have a phone call? Here's my email address in the chat. Is that election in this November?
Oops.
Jeremy, is your
Yeah.
election in November?
Sorry, he muted himself, and since he's not a host, I'm gonna make Jeremy a co-host just to
Just to avoid.
Here, wait,
avoid
ask to
this
unmute.
issue.
Here, I just asked him to unmute. I think he's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, there we go.
It's November 3rd. Yes, it's this year. Just a couple months from now.
Let's have a one-on-one, but I do want to mention that the Portland model is something that the Green Party of Los Angeles County, where I live, is promoting. The city of LA, you may recall a couple years ago, 3 council members were caught on a tape recording of highly racist comments of 3 of the Latino council members about redistricting in order to take political power away from the Black council members in the Black community in LA. It was very ugly, very classist, even within the Latino community. And the response by the city of LA was to look at charter reform, but they've been dragging their feet. And the Green Party has been promoting trying to go to, like Portland, 3-seat city council districts elected by ranked choice voting. And the thing that's so interesting, of course, with the Supreme Court gutting the Voting Rights Act and making it harder to do single seat majority minority districts, is that in LA, we have 3 major traditionally disenfranchised ethnic racial groups, the Latino, Black, and Asian American Pacific Islander. And even if you draw a single seat district to try and aid representation and voter choice for one of those communities, it's often at the expense of the other communities. But if you go to 3-seat city council districts with ranked choice voting, then we can have representation from different parts of each of those districts, which may be very, very, very different. So it's something that we're continuing to push, and we'll see where that's going. But I wanted to let you all know that your example in Portland is a big inspiration for us in LA.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
There's a program that I've been hoping that your state party would adopt, and it's somebody who has to enjoy minutia research. And I think the folks that I've asked to do it in the past have been too busy to do this. But about half of the Greens that we know who are elected across the country come from this following process. We literally take the voter registration list in one hand of the Greens, the Green voter registration list, and compare it side by side with the lists of local government candidates that are put out by county governments or city governments, etc., and literally go name by name and compare them to the voter registration lists. That's how we are finding a good half of all the Greens who are holding elected office in the state. I have been doing that for your state the last 3 or 4 cycles, and I've been doing it for Maine as well as my state of California. And all the time that I spend doing that takes me away from the interesting reports and analysis that I also should be doing as the election database manager, where I can give everybody more political intel on our trends. So ideally, you would pick a team of maybe 3 or 4 people who would divide the counties in the state geographically to where you live. And somebody has the green registration list, and you go through the list of candidates that are finalized and compare it to the registered green list. And you'll find these folks that way. And they'll probably, some of the people in your state I've discovered as well a few years ago. So I just want to pitch that. I'll train you guys in, but it would be ideal if you can find a couple people who are willing to take that on. Over. Thank you.
All right. We've got Logan's got his hand up. Go ahead, Logan.
Hi, Mike. Good to meet you. I have a couple of questions actually. I followed the Butch Ware campaign very extensively and was very, very supportive of him running explicitly for that position because I thought that it was very tactical and very strategic, and there was a real plan laid out behind what he said that he was going to do when he got into office. And I'm very skeptical of most national level election runs, at this point. But the way that he went about it, it made sense to me. And what I saw that happened along the way with the endorsement processes was frustrating. But I am curious whether you guys have any sort of information in your vote totals at this point over like about how many votes he actually got. Because when I look online, it's absolutely impossible to tell. And my other question is, what are you doing with the California Greens specifically in Los Angeles? Like, what do y'all do to get out into the community? What kind of events do you go to? What kind of events do you host? How do you reach out to the community and build the party?
All right. So the first question again was, his vote total. So when you go to gpelections.org, gpelections.org, that's the homepage for the database. When you scroll down, you'll see the California election report. So there's a link to our final numbers there. That I did a California specific one from the primary because we have the ugly jungle primary. And Butch got about 22,500 write-in votes. How do we compare that? The largest total ever for write-in votes was about of Greens was about 45,000 for Butch and Jill Stein as president in New York State in November of 2024. And this is about half of that. More registered Greens in California, less in New York. But in New York, that election was not close. The Democrats won the presidency. The Harris campaign was, I don't know, 15 points ahead of Trump or something like that. So it was very easy for people to write in Stein and Ware in New York State. In California, you may have followed that we had the situation where there were 10 strong Democrats in our jungle primary and 2 Republicans. And for several months, we're running out of time. So the bottom line is the race was very close in our jungle primary for the Democrats. So there was not a lot of incentive. So I thought Butch's number was pretty strong given that. The rest of it, how we build locally, we'll have to save for another time because we're out of time.
All right.
I'll give you my email if you want to write to me and we can set up a phone call.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Thanks for the question. And yeah, just want to kind of keep things on time here. So we are going to go back to our next option here. So thank you. Thanks again, Mike. It was wonderful hearing you and very inspirational to those of us that are now working to get elected to various positions. And
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
I appreciate your time. Best of luck.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mike, and for all the work that you do. It's changing the narrative. I appreciate it.
Great. Take care. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, Mike. All right. That brings us to our candidates. Our first one up is Andrea Townsend for District 5 of the U.S. House of Representatives. Has she been unmuted? Is she with us?
Yeah, Josiah, we might want to make all the candidates co-hosts. I know Andrea was in the meeting for a while.
Yeah.
That way we don't have to worry about.
Right, there we go.
I just was trying to keep the noise down while the other folks were talking. Just so.
All right, Andrea, you are now a co-host, so you should be able to talk.
Okay. Hi.
And I just want to remind the candidates. I'm sorry to interrupt, but and we're going to give all the candidates like 5 minutes to speak, and then we'll do like a little Q&A time. Okay. So if all the candidates can try to keep their introductory remarks about 5 minutes. Thanks.
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Andrea Townsend. Many people call me Andy, and I am running for to be congressional representative of District 5, which is where I live in Portland. Well, it's not just Portland. It's but I live in the part of it that is in Portland. So I'm really happy to be here. I ran last time and it was an interesting experience. I think I got around 3,000 votes, and that was amazing. Yeah, I think that, well, I've been a member of the Pacific Green since I was able to register to vote. And I continue to support our platform, and I would like to hold a spot on the ballot for a Green representative. I'm really tired of the two-party system. It's just so frustrating that I can go to the store and I can get a billion different kinds of toothpaste, but somehow the 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 mainstream is limiting us to these red and blue colors, and I'm an artist. I don't like it. Yeah, I didn't really prepare a speech, but if you feel like putting me on the ballot, I would love to have your vote. If anyone has any questions for me, I do love to share my opinion on important matters. So maybe I'll just open the floor for that. Yeah.
Great. And while people are thinking of questions, I'll just point out that all the candidates have completed our candidate questionnaire, some of them fairly recently. So I haven't had a chance to publish the responses to the website, but along with the ballots, when I send out the ballots, I'll give you all those responses in a sort of voter's guide. So just so our membership knows, they can learn a little bit more about all the candidates and their responses. Andrea, real quick, could you just, a couple of things on that list, can you tell us what your thoughts are on ranked choice voting, if you support that, and also healthcare for all, do you support that, and do you support Free Palestine?
Yeah, yes, and yes. I super support ranked choice voting. It's been really cool to be able to do it in Oregon at different levels. Yeah, and I'd like to see a lot more of that. It's a much more fair way of doing things. And let's see, so the other two are, well, Free Palestine. Yeah, very anti what is happening, and it's devastating, and it needs to stop. I'm really inspired by the people who have gone on the flotilla and put their lives at risk to stop what's happening. Yeah, and we need to get APAC money out of our political system completely. Yeah, I can definitely say genocide. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Israeli genocide against the Palestinian people.
And you're running against, is it Maxine Dexter?
Janelle Bynum.
Oh, Janelle Bynum. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
She might be the worst. She might be the worst of them all. Yeah. I'm glad you're stepping
it's unfortunate.
up. I think there was a question in the chat.
Oh. Your top priorities, Logan wants.
Oh, and single payer healthcare, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been working for that in Oregon for a really long time. We're getting closer. Yeah, we need it.
Yeah. Any other top issues that we didn't already mention that you're running on or want to talk about during your campaign?
Yeah, I work for the state in affordable housing, and yeah, I think that the answer to the housing crisis is social housing, and that is an interesting. It's that seems like something that we don't like. It shouldn't be a strange topic, but what lessons did I learn? I'm sorry, I saw that question for a second. Yeah, I mean, okay, so running for office was a new experience for me. I think it was just at the time, it was a personal response to what I perceived to be unreasonable circumstances. And I continue to feel that way. I don't think that running for office is like the best way to make change. I think of the movement as like an octopus. And so some people run for office and some people are like, like living in front of the ice building, and some people are looking at databases, and like, all of that together builds a strategy. And so I was in the last like 2 years, I was an elected bargaining representative for my union, and that was an extremely powerful experience, and took up like a ton of my time and we're coming into our next bargaining cycle, and I don't have that role this time around, but yeah, there's just all these levels where you can participate. And so this, I don't know. I think what Mike was saying about people running at local levels is really important. And Portland's an interesting place because there's so many different people who are like trying to create change and working for good stuff. Oh, I'm SEIU, Local 503. Yeah. So, let's see. Thanks for listening to me.
All right. Thank you so much, Andrea.
It's nice to be here.
Thanks for stepping up to put your name throw your hat in the ring there. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Good luck to you too, Justin.
Yep. Yeah.
All of us.
We're going to have lots of Greens elected, and it sounds like you've got a great background. So.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks again. All righty. So let's keep things moving. We've got Stephanie Terrio for District 26. Stephanie, go ahead.
Hi. Hello. Can you guys hear me? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. And just really fast, I did not see that the meeting got changed. So if you guys had anyone else who was looking, they might not have realized that quickly. So sorry, I'm on my lunch break right now. I'm running for Oregon House in District 26. And I am currently endorsed with the Progressive Party as well, although my policy more closely aligns with the Green Party, and I would love to be nominated to run on the ballot with you guys. Absolutely do not support the genocide that we are funding in Gaza, and I am here for all affordable housing and any social expansive programs, certainly universal health care and publicly funded health care. We have the option to get to these pathways. Oregon is extremely diverse, and we have a lot of people in my district who are not quite ready to see the socialism aspect, and I feel like I'm a really good bridge with my political background. I was one of those horrible Turning Point USA kids when I was 13, 14 years old. So I'm very comfortable talking about politics with a lot of different people. And that has given me the opportunity to really launch this campaign locally, on the ground, talking to people and getting people's ideas. And so far, I haven't found very many who don't want similar policies as we do.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. That's perfect. Does anybody have any questions for Stephanie?
Yeah, a quick question. Stephanie, can you tell us a little bit about your opponent and what you think maybe are the key things that separate you from them?
Yes, my opponent is Sue Reiki Smith, and she is a Democrat. She kind of got appointed to the seat after Courtney went to Senate, so she wasn't really voted in. And she sits on the Board of Education, which is important for my district, but it's also the school districts are suffering severely. So I don't really see her committee as being like I feel like she doesn't have a lot of support right now, and certainly I don't see her out in the districts at all. She does a lot of online stuff and like with her schools, but I don't see her talking to the people.
All right, thank you. And Mark Baber has a question. Go ahead, Mark.
Hello, I was wondering if I could introduce myself as a candidate for Congress. I know that Justin may have been nominated in May for District 4, and I just think it may be a sign of a maturing Pacific Green Party that we may have more than one candidate to throw their hat in the ring. I have nothing but respect for Justin. I think we are both putting ourselves out there as alternatives to Monique Despain and Val Hoyle and their not free Palestine approach to politics. I'm a retired software engineer, and I worked.
I tell you what, Mark, can we get back to you after we've had the other candidates speak?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll call on you when we get everybody else done. So,
right.
Yeah, thanks for pitching in. But that brings me to me. Oh, Jeremy, quick question. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here, Stephanie, and coming on your lunch break. I saw, or I guess you said that you were a Turning Point USA kid. I grew up in Virginia Beach and in a very Republican area, militaristic, and the Democrats were nowhere to be found. So how do you feel like that's helpful to you in your current run?
The conversation skills. I mean, I grew up a conservative, and when I went super far left in college, of course, my policies aligned with them, and then I realized, oh my gosh, this is not the way. So I feel very, very comfortable talking to any political, like the Republicans, the Democrats. I am comfortable bringing policy to them because they don't really realize this is what they want. They just have been supporting candidates who aren't giving it to them.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much, Stephanie. And thanks for the questions, folks. Yeah, so that brings me to me. I just announced my candidacy for the House of Representatives for District 57. It's basically North Central Oregon. I live in Dufur, so I'm on the edge of the Eastern Oregon. And the current incumbent has 3 different ethics investigations going on against him. He's been in the House of Representatives for 26 years now. However, the Democrats don't want to go up against him because he's a very powerful candidate. So what we need to do is have somebody in there. I think I've got the perfect timing because there's so much anti-incumbent fervor going on, and the DSA is bringing up the idea of having more progressive folks work. And then my district, one of the biggest things is my district has as many non-affiliated voters as Democrats and Republicans combined. And so there's a lot of folks in the district that aren't beholden to one party or the other. So I see a real opportunity to shake up the Oregon House of Representatives as a candidate and just get my campaign going. And so I'll be reaching out to folks to see if anybody wants to help out. Any questions? All right.
Josiah, when was the last time you held office? Because you've been elected Green already, right?
Yeah, I've been elected Green. I was the city council for Dufur since from 2016, I think it was, until 2024. I got voted out in the big 2024 conservative outpouring. And so, yeah, so just kind of looking at recently sold a business. So I've got some free time on my hands. And again, looking to represent North Central Oregon with a little bit more progressive. And again, and I think Stephanie touched on it, it's the issues that people care about. So if you can get out from under, the politics, the red, blue, and green, people actually support things like the environment. 40% of the wells in Boardman, Oregon have unsafe levels of nitrates in them. The current incumbent has done nothing to fix that situation. We're seeing wildfires all over the district. And again, we need to take action to, the state representatives can take action on climate change and mitigation for these crazy wildfires that are happening all over the state.
Well, I appreciate you stepping up. Thank you.
Yeah, and somebody asked, yeah, he has not been opposed for more than a decade. Not anybody opposing him at all. So he actually got the Democratic endorsement as well, which is really scary. That the Democrats. So yeah, and actually that's part of my campaign is I'm actually working with the Democrats. Again, they don't have the guts to take on Greg, but I do, and I will. And so I'll be looking for their endorsement. Hopefully they don't get the national to tell them not to. We'll see how that goes. So, all right.
Yes, I'm interested to see how that turns out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Yep. All right. Any other questions? Well, that brings us to Jeremy, who's running for the Portland City Council. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me. So my name is Jeremy Beausoleil Smith. I'm running for Portland City Council in District 4. As we all know, everything is way too expensive right now. So I'm going to fight to lower costs and make life easier, running on a platform of housing is a human right, agreeing to a deal for Portland, and pushing back against Trump's fascist agenda and standing up for our democracy. So what that kind of looks like in practice is a renter's bill of rights, habitat conservation and restoration, standing up for immigrant rights, making it basically impossible for ICE to operate in our city. There's a lot of different tools that we can use to make that happen. Standing up for trans rights, making sure, single payer healthcare gets off to a great start here in Oregon and that bodily autonomy is prioritized and gender affirming care is life-saving care. So that needs to be included as well. I have a disability, so huge on disability rights and also standing up for human rights, particularly right now, Palestinian rights. There's a genocide being perpetrated against the Palestinian people by the Israeli government, and it has to stop. And we have to divest from the US war machine here in Portland. So always something that we can do. I think I hear a lot, oh, that's, even a county issue or a state issue or a federal issue. It's international. It's too much to take on. And I just completely disagree. Use the full range of the office. You have bully pulpit. People elected you. You have, the support of the people. So use it to the full extent. Some of the other things that I'm running on are a data center moratorium and also been pushing for public power. So municipalization of our power grid. Portland General Electric is raising rents at an astronomical rate, and it's pretty much just to benefit data centers. And a lot of those are over in Hillsborough, and they run through my district, the transmission lines. And Portland General Electric keeps trying to cut down Forest Park to make this happen. And I just can't tolerate that. I won't let that happen. So thanks for having me, and I'll leave it open some more time for questions. Thanks, Logan. Yeah, Logan's the one that got me connected with y'all. So we've had a lot of conversations, and he's on my kitchen cabinet working on the campaign. So it's been a lot of fun to get to know him so far and learn a little bit more about what our local party does.
All right, we've got Aaron. Go ahead. You've been on.
Yes, I know that there's a controversy that's probably ginned up by the Portland Police Association about low police staffing. I know that the problems with the police come from their recruitment tactics in intentionally recruiting conservative people to be police officers. How can you help solve the understaffing of the police bureau, but also find ways to integrate the police force with more progressive and representative people in the public, including people of color, trans people, and other people who would not necessarily become police officers?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So crime right now is at its lowest in the past decade. So we have definitely done plenty of work on that. And we have Portland Street Response, which is an unarmed de-escalation program that shows up to, when people are experiencing psychosis or having any kind of mental crisis. And that's been hugely successful. And I want to fully fund that for 24/7 citywide service. As far as we have to get everyone housed right now. And I don't think that we need as many police officers if people are housed, because a lot of what happens, in Old Town in particular, you see, we absolutely don't need more police officers. But yeah, a lot of the so-called crimes that happen are because people don't have, the addiction treatment that they need, or the mental health services, or stable housing. So I think there's a lot of other ways to come at it other than increasing the police budget or more officers. But yeah.
All right. Any other questions for Jeremy? Feel free to raise your hand. All right. Well, that gives us time to invite Mark back in. So go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
Hi, thank you. I would say the biggest issue, I think, for all of us is to defund the war machine and free Palestine, stop attacking Ukraine, stop attacking Iran. What I bring to the table as far as a candidate that's a little bit different is, as a retired computer software engineer and IT professional in electric utilities and water companies like eWeb, Seattle Power and Light, and so on. I bring a unique perspective on the AI situation and depth of knowledge for that. So what I would like to do is to help lead policymaking in the AI field so that we take advantage of the incredible opportunities there and also avoid the incredible dangers. There are huge dangers. Oregon is a target because we have cheap electricity and abundant water, and data centers are already locating here, and they will be here more if we don't get better organized and protect our citizens' access to electricity and water. So that's a big issue, but AI is impacting basically everything and up and down the other issues. It impacts the way wars are conducted with AI, Palantir targeting people, using no humans in the loop to put people on kill lists and things in Gaza. It's also going to wreak havoc with the economy, with some estimating we will automate approximately 90% of the remaining jobs within the next decade. It's just a huge impact for society. And so far, with capitalism and wars, we've been using systems that were designed to manage scarcity. And what AI makes possible is something more like a 24th century Star Trek vision of the future, where we live to better ourselves and the people around us, that we learn to manage abundance, because the default systems in our culture right now are going to pit people against each other as if there were scarcity, when in fact we're on the threshold of a complete change in human society to being able to manage abundance and thrive together. And that's the vision I would like to help take to Washington. And I would love to be on your advising team, Justin, if that's something that would be of interest to you. So, and pleased to meet you all. I think that we, as progressives, we have ceded some of the high ground on some issues to conservatives, like the Ukraine war. I can't say progressive there. That's a Democrat thing. Okay. The Ukraine war, online censorship has been big within the Democratic Party, and also the health freedom movement. I think we should not have vaccine mandates, for example, and that the ethic of informed consent should be followed in all cases. I think that in some cases, the conservatives have been allowed to run away with the America First banner in terms of funding Americans before we fund others in the rest of the world. And I think if we were to really reevaluate some of these issues that the Democratic Party has gone wrong on, and put ourselves out there as not an extreme left party, but as a party that takes the best of both sides, we could really put ourselves in a position of winning. Last thing is a bookkeeping thing is that we currently have 7,714 registered Green Party members in the state, and we need 7,676 to qualify to put people on the ballot by August 15th, I believe it is. So we only have a margin of 38 voters right now. If 15,000 more people registered to vote as Oregonians in the state, we could lose that margin if nobody else registers. I've been tracking these things because I'm currently the nominee of the We the People Party. And we've jumped through the motions of putting out the newspaper announcements for our convention, which we had a couple weeks ago. And I was nominated as the CD4. Now, normally that would mean I would already be on the ballot, but they are not yet up to the 2,500 members that they would need, having gotten 1% of the vote in 2024 to put people on the ballot. But for the Pacific Green Party and the other minor parties that haven't gotten 1% of the vote recently, the threshold is a bit higher, somewhere between 7,500 and 8,500, depending on how many total Oregonians registered. So I just want to put that on the radar and make sure that we small parties need to stick together on this and not get marginalized by the two major parties in Salem. I just want people to be mindful of that.
Oh, just going to jump in. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did in 2024 secure our 1% that extended our ballot access. So I don't think that's relevant for ours. We can do a review of that, but yeah, I think I had a conversation with someone from your party about this a while back. When are you guys meeting? Are you in Springfield? Do you attend those Springfield meetings?
Yes, I do.
Because I was thinking about maybe coming and having a chat with y'all. When is your next one?
Oh, that'd be great. I don't know, but I'll follow up with you. It'll probably be in the second week of August or so.
Okay.
But I'll send you the details. So could you? Let's see. I need to get your email, I guess.
Sure. I'll
some contact information.
I'll drop it in the chat. Okay.
Okay. I'll drop mine as well. So with that, I'll conclude my remarks. Thank you all, and privileged to be here among you.
All right. Thanks so much, Mark. Does anybody have any questions? All right. Not seeing any. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just catching up on the chat. Because so many people had interesting things to say. It looks like we're pretty close to being on time, aren't we?
Yeah. I think we're actually 5 minutes ahead according to my so.
See, once again, I'm superfluous because everyone's so well behaved.
Exactly. Your timeouts have been working really good, so that's really great. All right. Well, thanks to all the candidates. We've got a great slate of folks, and as Mike pointed out, it's all that down ballot things that really make things work. Looks like Logan wants to say something. Go ahead.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Mark, I just wanted to say that I really respect you showing up and saying your piece. I don't live in that district anymore. I lived in Eugene for a couple of years when I first moved to Oregon, and in a lot of ways I really miss it down there. And I would like to go visit more, but that's beside the point. My point is I know that it can be really tense when people talk about the topic of vaccine mandates. And I know that can spark a lot of controversy and a lot of tension to the point where it's people immediately kind of shut down. And I am very pro-science and pro-vaccine. And I think that there's a lot of reasons to be when we look at what's happening right now. But with that being said, I just wanted to say that like I see what you're doing with the We the People Party, and I respect it, and I think that there has to be room for like all of the parties outside of this fascist administration and the democratic establishment to like have a working relationship and be able to come together and like talk about these important policies like the AI situation, because AI is, as a younger person, it terrifies me. It absolutely freaking terrifies me when I see the state of what's happening with our environmental ecosystems and the way that the AI data centers are being used as surveillance state mechanisms. So we have to open the door as third parties to be able to have that conversation. And yeah, I just wanted to say like my support is fully behind Justin, but I really appreciate you showing up and saying your piece.
All right, thanks so much. And so, Mark, you had your hand up. We'll get to you, Chris, in just a moment. Go ahead, Mark.
Hi, just a quick response. I think that the Green Party may have missed an opportunity with the Green the Vaccine movement that Kennedy came out with. There are many reasons. The only 4 studies that have ever been done comparing vaxxed versus unvaxxed kids have shown that there's much higher chronic disease rates in the vaccinated groups. And that includes Olmsted, Mossam, Zervis, and Paul Thompson, the pediatrician up in Portland with 15,000 patients. So I would urge people to look into that. Watch An Inconvenient Study. This is a documentary about the Zervis study. And please keep an open mind about that. I appreciate your speaking up. Thanks. I won't go a little further on that right now, but I welcome conversation later.
All right. Thanks so much, Mark. So I've got Chris coming on up. Let me unmute you. There you go, Chris. Go ahead. Come on. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right. Okay. I'm running for U.S. Senate, and I didn't realize that you had your convention today because it said the 19th when you fill out the questionnaire. But then it said the 19th is Saturday, and it said it was Sunday on the same form. So someone got that wrong. So it was really vague. So when you go to the website and you click on it, it'll say the 18th on Saturday, and then you click on that, for the events, and you click on that, and when you go to the document or the next page, it says both Saturday and Sunday are the 19th. So that was really vague, and made a mistake on Saturday being the 19th. So I was just going to fill it out today and show up tomorrow. And yeah, and I just found out that it was.
I apologize for any confusion. There might have been one I didn't catch, but I've just been promoting it on social media and with the public notices and doing this other stuff, and maybe I missed one, and so I apologize if there was one that said the 19th. That being said, it's going to take me a while. I was going to tell everyone this. It's going to take me a second to put together the ballot. Okay, so we're gonna vote tomorrow. If you want to fill that out.
Okay, but I won't be voting on it, so I can fill it out. I mean,
if you want to fill out your questionnaire, so that we can consider you on the ballot, so that the voters can consider you. There's nothing stopping us from doing that, but I apologize for the confusion on our end.
But would you like a spiel on my candidacy?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah, we got time.
Do you have time in the agenda for that?
No. Yes.
I don't want to hijack your convention or anything.
No.
Okay. Okay. So I'm a 3rd generation truck driver. I'm out in my car because I needed air conditioning. It was a little hot in the house. That not only that, but I needed to charge my phone and something to hold it. So anyway, I'm moving on. I'm a 3rd generation truck driver. I hauled freight for 20 years. Before that, I was over the road. I did I did furniture moving. I've laid brick, block, laid concrete, and I did concrete mixers for 15 years, and worked on the B-1 bomber as an aircraft mechanic. Basically a Rosie the Riveter, for Rockwell International. I actually wanted to go to Space Division and work on the last shuttle, but I didn't make the cut. So anyhow.
Oops. What happened?
Did it drop?
He got muted somehow. I just tried to unmute him.
Muted? Or
there you go.
I just unmuted myself.
There you go.
It popped up again. Okay. So I used to chair the Pacific Green Party back 2004 to 2008. And then I got on the national committee. I went to Detroit in 2010 for the annual national meeting. I also went during that year to, I was part of the Oregon Consumer League, and I went to DC as the Oregon delegate for a week, or actually 5 days, for basically something that was formed by Ralph Nader. It was the Consumer Federation of America, and was a delegate there. And since 2010, I moved over to the Progressive Party. So for 2010 on until 2020, I was in the Progressive Party. I still sit on the board of the Progressive Party, but I'm registered independent with the IPO. So I'm running for the IPO's nomination. I think I've got it. I'm not sure. And I've got the Progressive Party nomination. So I'm looking for your nomination. Let me see. Issues, what I'm about. I want to bring about a Department of Peace. It would be nice to build a peace-a-gon, because when you build a structure and a building and something lasting, then it will stick. So a peace-a-gon to rival the Pentagon. I figured it should probably be out here on the 45th parallel, which is pretty much right off the I-5 in Salem, but it could be anywhere. And I just think that it should be transparent and maybe made of glass with solar panels on the top and a peace sign. The building should be a huge peace sign and peace symbol. I want to turn the military humanitarian. Basically close down the 1,000 military bases worldwide. I think that what they're doing in Gaza is, my air conditioning just shut off. What they're doing in Gaza is ethnic cleansing, not just genocide. Am I still on?
Yeah. You're good. Yep, you're still going.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see. All I see is Justin and here.
Yeah.
There. Now I think I can see everybody. Okay. Yeah, I thought he was just sitting still, and I thought, oh no, my screen froze. So
I'm listening.
Workers, I want to raise the minimum wage. It should be tripled, or actually it should be quadrupled. It should be about $27 an hour. So add 20 onto the 725. I think that we should have unions and proliferate unions. I think we should actually have worker-owned industries. It said on the questionnaire, I briefly read over it, and it said to choose one of the 10 key values. I think there should be 12 key values, one of those being workers, but worker-owned industries. So it would be grassroots democracy. I think that the AI data centers we should redefine what constitutes a public utility, and we should turn those into PUDs that are owned by the people instead of they're profiting off of us, and they have the final word on what happens with the data centers. The same thing with a lot of industries is we could turn them into PUDs and work our own industries a lot faster by turning them into PUDs, such as satellites that are owned by Elon Musk. The We the People Party, I actually established that first, and then I gave it up, and that went to Elon Musk. Elon Musk grabbed it because he was grabbing it all over, and I figured, what the hell, he might pull some votes away from Trump. So I let it go, and then Elon Musk established that. But as for the AI data centers, I think we need a movement to block them and also take control of them. With other things, such as the petroleum industry, Ralph Nader argued that it should be a PUD, a public utility, that we should take it over. And that way you have control over their profiteering of it and shut it down. And actually, like here in Portland, we ran in 3 counties before I joined the Greens in 2002 to 2004. We did a PUD effort in 3 counties, Washington, in the metro, but all 3 counties, each one did their own PUD, public utility district, and we tried to put that forward. And I think I'm taking up more time than anybody else, and I'm really concerned about that.
Yeah,
anyhow,
I appreciate your.
Where did our timekeeper go?
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm still here, but I just thought we were in the general portion now, which I think leaves us about 9 minutes.
Yeah, let me let you guys
and
get on.
I didn't want to be that a-hole and start interrupting again.
No, that's fine. I wish you would have. I don't want to drone on, and other folks have important things to say, and they've been saying some great things.
And I already put my pieces of my mind about some of the earlier discussion in chat if people run out of other things to do.
Yeah.
So that's why I lowered my hand.
Well, I can fill out your questionnaire and get it to you, and that way folks will have something to look at.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much, Chris. It was great.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions
Thank you.
for Chris before we move on? Logan, go ahead. Oh, I need to unmute you. Hold on. There you go.
Hi, Chris. Can you hear me?
Yep. You're good.
Me?
Yep.
Yeah. Chris, I have a question.
Logan.
For you.
Is that Logan?
Yeah,
Okay.
This is Logan. So are you located like in the Portland general area, or are you somewhere else in the state?
I'm in District 4 of Portland. I ran in District 4 back in 2024, and this is the new cycle where they had to run in order to stagger the offices. I achieved the $40,000 of the public funding. I hired a campaign manager. I hired people to gather the donations for me, and Willamette Week had some scathing stuff to say about me, and the Small Donor Elections Committee said that's democracy. He's doing what he's supposed to, you know. And I said, unions do it all the time with their candidates, as they go out there in the street and get paid and whatnot. So, either paid or volunteer, and we registered them as we're going to have paid gatherers. So anyway, at any rate, I'm in District 4.
You said that you're running for the Senate. Are you running for the state Senate, or are you running against Jeff Merkley?
U.S.
You're running
US
for Merkley seat?
Merkley?
Yeah. I have to run for a statewide office in order to maintain the ballot access for the Progressive Party. If I ran 4 years ago for U.S. Senate against Wyden, Before that, I ran for bully in the primary. I have run every 2 years consistently since 2008 when I stepped down as chair. My dad died in 2007, and it kind of rocked my world when I was chairing the Green Party. So I stepped aside, and then someone asked me to step to the national, and and they also asked me to run for office, and I said, I'm just a truck driver, and all you dudes are lawyers and doctors and whatnot who are running for the. We ran in order to get the statewide ballot access for the Green Party. We ran each person in each of the 5 districts, the congressional districts, and I ran in congressional district 1 against David Wu. That was my first campaign, and my campaign website was more we than woo, because I come from a family of 12 and about unions.
If I may ask, how do you?
Sorry.
No, you're fine. If I may ask, how do you differentiate yourself from Merkley? And you mentioned it. You're giving off the perception to me that you would be an anti-imperialist, and I'll let you answer that. But like, how does your experience working on the B-1 bomber like inform your perspective on the war machine and the way that it operates?
The B-1 bomber turned me into a peace activist. I saw what it could do, destructively. I worked on it for a year and a half before the contract ended, right at the tail end of the contract, and I was just getting paid, I don't know, maybe $13 an hour or something like that back in the day. This was in 1985 to 87, I think, and I graduated from high school in 82. Or I dropped out, and then I took the GED. But anyway, I'm not sure. I saw the destructive power that it could do. At Portland State University, I took conflict resolution in my undergrad. At the time, they did not have a degree for people who were seeking an undergrad, just for the masters, but they allowed you to take the classes. So there was a 400 series and a 500 series, 600 series for the graduates, 5 and 6. So I took the 400 series alongside them. And then I walked across the river and wanted to see what the Green Party was all about, because I learned who Ralph Nader was, and my whole world changed when I was doing campaign finance reform, signature gathering, and PUD signature gathering, and it led me to the Green Party. I chaired the Portland Metro chapter, which was three counties at the time. I don't know if it is now. At the same time,
in the effort of
sorry, thank
you. Connor's got a question, so ask you. There you go. Quick question, Connor. Go ahead.
Just real quick, Chris. I wanted to just verify that you had access to our chat, and if you could copy in your contact or campaign info for our notes.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't built a website or anything like that. I drive through the night. This is my bedtime right now.
Do you have an email or something?
I do. Email me at chrishenry.org. One word, email me at symbol. It's also usually my website, or we direct it towards. I went on Nation Builder and I subscribed to build a website this morning, and then I checked the Green Party website and went, oh shit. And I said, is it today or tomorrow? Today or tomorrow? And I just figured I'd register.
There we go. All right. Well, we appreciate it, Chris. And I'm sorry we're running short on time, but appreciate meeting you, and look forward to learning more.
Thank you for your time.
Yep. Thank you. All righty. So that brings us to our kind of wrapping up area of where we are. So now would be a good time to have a discussion about our, oops, where do we go? Here we go. There we go. A group discussion on our voters pamphlet statement, and see if there's any suggestions for the November election. Justin, do you have time to just kind of introduce that, or?
Yeah. So the voters pamphlet statement, I mean, candidates get to do one, but also parties do. All right. So this is our chance for anyone who's going to be flipping through their voters pamphlet in November to see a statement from us and see what we stand for. I put a link in the chat. I think this is the most recent one. Now I don't really remember if Connor's, if he's there and he's got a link to handy for the most recent voters pamphlet statement, that'd be helpful. But I invite people to sort of open it up and take a look at it. And even if you aren't able to open up and take a look at it, I thought this would be a good opportunity for us to just sort of have a discussion, a brainstorm about, what do we want included in there? What do we want people to know about the Green Party? Is our last statement good as is? Do we want to add to it? I think we probably want to build on what we've already written. Are there any specific issues we want to call out? So James has his hand up, it looks like.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm not. Yeah, comprehensive healthcare is a thing I think that we need to maybe bring forward a little bit more. That would be my only suggestion. I definitely think a lot of people are concerned about AI as well as, we've been talking about that a lot today in our convention. So anything that we could force those two issues forward, because I feel like in debates and in discourse, those are going to be big things. So thanks.
I'm gonna take some notes on this, and we'll continue to share with folks this as we revise it for feedback before we send off the final product to the government. But do we want to say something specifically about HCAO, Healthcare for All Oregon, or more generally just about us supporting a universal healthcare program? HCAO specifically, it sounds like we want to. Okay. Data centers is very timely. Any other thoughts? And maybe we can, let me see if I can change the host tool so folks can now unmute themselves. But yeah, if anyone wants to raise their hand.
Yeah, and I've got the statement up on the shared screen.
Yeah, Connor made a good point in the chat. A good, we could look at other parties that are aligned with us, like the Progressive Party, and for inspiration as to ways to improve ours. So that's a good idea. We'll do a review of there. I do like the bullet points. I think, yes, maybe people won't read a lot of lengthy text. The attention span of the average person is very short, right? But we also want to fill up the page with stuff. But maybe a bullet point format might be beneficial to folks. What do you think?
Yeah, I like Connor's suggestion that it's a hybrid start, and it's kind of like that where we start with an introduction that says who we are, and then these bullet points as we go down, and then close it out with Join for a Better Future.
Now, I don't see eco-socialism specifically mentioned on there, and there's been a lot of discussion about public awareness, right, of our position, our ideological position. We have roots in the former Socialist Party in Oregon. As an eco-socialist party, we are the only socialist option on the ballot. It feels like we should be talking about that and sort of, I think if we own it, we can help do away with the way that the ruling class wants to make socialism a boogeyman word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on being a little bit more explicit about our socialist ideas? Yeah, so Robinson, I like your idea too, being an alternative to the two-party system. That's usually how I talk about the party to other people and remind them that we are trying to build an alternative to the two major parties of capitalism and imperialism. I try to remind them that both of those parties are heavily tied to those couple things. Logan.
I just wanted to say that, like, for better or worse, not for better or worse, but like, I don't even really know how to talk about it, but there's a massive wave of ICE protests that are happening today across the nation, and or anti-ICE protests, I should say. There's been 4 people killed just this week by ICE, and like the Green Party is not doing enough on a national level to talk about this and coordinate with these protest networks, in my opinion. So that I think that's something that I know that it's not something that we want to do in terms of like having to protest this because it's not fun and it's scary, but it's also like our friends and neighbors are being freaking kidnapped, y'all. You know, like we have to like at the very least say something, and if not, like we have to figure out how we can plug into these communities. Like in Portland we have Perk, but I know that in Eugene, I know that you guys have an anti-ICE network as well, and we have to figure out how the Green Party can contribute to that more. That's what I wanted to say that I feel like needs to be a priority right now.
Well, quick update for folks. Amy, before you go, I was invited to speak at the ICE rally today. I was just disinvited during our meeting today.
Wow.
What?
Yes, because of
Why?
comments I made about DSA.
Oh, the humanity. Well, I was just about to say that I hope in our statement we could find a diplomatic way to say DSA is not it.
Oh,
I have some praise for DSA at the local level. I remember they had an organized contingent during Trump's first term that I would always see at anti-fascist protests, but I admire their organizational skills, which is a little easier when you have the Democrats' pockets opening up for you, I think. But I am not, I was going to say even before you shared this news that I am not impressed with the shabby treatment they've given you, nor Sawant, nor Ware, nor many other candidates who theoretically they would be aligning with. The problem is, I believe you've said before, they're Democrat first and socialist after.
right.
Well, and I
If there's
think,
a succinct way to work that in, that would be great. Thank you.
yeah, I'll make that note. And I think, yes, I think it's important for people to understand these dynamics. I mean, I'm getting heat for this right now, but I also believe in truth and transparency. And I think people should know what their endorsement process is and why they refuse to give support to the only socialist in the race in CD4.
Because they are not their own bosses, and we all know it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think Brett wanted to add something.
Go ahead, Brett.
Might have to unmute yourself.
There you go. You're open.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep. You're good.
Yeah, I just wanted to, add to what Logan was saying and how it affected Justin today. Like, we don't need permission to protest ICE, right? Like, there's enough of us that we can go out to a facility, start working together, and start becoming the face of this anti-fascist, anti-ICE sort of movement. It doesn't have to be like the DSA or whatever. It can be the Green Party. I think it would be a good idea to add that to what we're doing. And I'd be more than willing to start showing up places and really being vocal about it. It's not a secret that this is more than just, anti-immigration. You look at all the flock cameras and all the stuff that they're doing and the amount of money that they want to dump into this. And now they're talking about, shutting down communism, whatever, on this federal level. And this is a nationalized movement against people, not just immigrants. And they're just starting out with the most vulnerable. And one of the reasons why I'm a member of the Green Party is to protect the most vulnerable. And I think we should be at the forefront of this.
Yeah, I've heard you use that before, and I really like that. I'm going to make a note of protecting the most vulnerable because, yeah, I saw another thing somewhere where someone was talking about fascism and like it's a fascist mindset to think that any group is sort of expendable, right? So like going back to like the Palestinians, like the Democrats expected us to just be willing to throw that marginalized group under the bus to save other marginalized groups, but that's sort of a fascist mindset this person was saying, because as soon as you start going down that road, then what's to prevent you from throwing the next group under the bus, and so on and so on. So like we do need to protect all of these vulnerable communities. I agree.
All right. Did you have a question, Chris, or you just bumped your mic?
Oh, did I?
Oh, yeah, that's all right. I'll go ahead and mute off. Yeah. Okay. Any other input for our voter pamphlet? We've got everything in the chat. We're going to save that and forward that. And then, yeah, it sounds like we've got some work to do to get that voters pamphlet more up to date and see how much we can poke the bear, so to speak, with all of that. So yeah, any other?
And if folks have like ideas that come to them, they get inspired, just drop us an email at info@pacificgreens.org and just say, hey, I just thought of this. I'd really love to see it be part of our voters pamphlet statement. We've got a little bit of time on that.
And we need to note that we did it without AI.
There we go.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, let's see. Do we have anybody that has anything else for the good of the order? Justin, did you had some reminders for folks?
Well, I just want to set expectations. People are going to be looking for their ballots, but there's a few things I need to do first, and it's going to take me some time. Okay, so one is to put together a voters pamphlet of our own, so that and I will publish the responses to the questionnaire. I think Chris is going to fill his out later. So expect the ballots to really go out tomorrow morning. All right, and then we're going to have until 8 p.m. tomorrow to vote. But I will try to get them out like first thing in the morning. But in addition to doing the voters pamphlet, the voters guide, I should say, for our own purposes, I need to confirm people are registered. Okay, so in order to be eligible to vote, you had to have been a registered green on the primary election deadline, which was April 28th. So I just need to run our list of registrants for the convention against the Secretary of State's registration report and just make sure that I'm sending ballots to eligible voters. And I guess there's always a none of the above option. So if you just like, I don't really think that person represents the party the way I would like to see. None of the above is always an option. So it could be, you can vote for Justin Phillip or you can vote for none of the above. Although I was in the last nominating convention, but I'm just using myself as an example. Amy, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I was just going to say, I hope I didn't overwhelm people in the chat with too many links. If you missed something and you want the list, I made one. Just email me because you're welcome.
Could you email that to me, and I'll just include it in a like a follow up. I'll send a little email to everyone who registered. Thank everybody for coming.
Yeah,
and
I'd
I'll
be happy
include some of those. That'd be great.
Because I know we're not made of unlimited time, and it can feel really intimidating to see, a 45-minute lecture. But I do them in bits and pieces all the time. I bookmark them, I spend 10 minutes with them, and then I just come back whenever I have an extra 10 minutes. It can totally be done. And I like to whine about YouTube, but it is really good at saving your history. You can almost always go back easily to a thing you were interested in but couldn't complete. And that's the last time I'll say anything nice about anything connected to Google. Thanks.
All righty. Anybody else have anything for the convention? But yeah, we had 15 minutes for our closing remarks, and here we are. Just we need to remind all the candidates to fill out their SEL 110 and email it so that so Justin can get you registered with the state. And again, we're hoping that everybody can get their votes in tomorrow night by 8 p.m. And then we've got the suggested dates for the 2027 Winter Convention, either January 16th or January 23rd. And always, as with all political candidates or parties, we would love for you to donate. We could use some money. It costs money to get on in the voters pamphlet, and hopefully those of us running might be able to get some help as well from the Green Party. But we've got lots of overhead to cover. So
yes, like my least favorite part of the whole thing, but we do need money to run the party. We try to be pretty frugal and not waste anyone's money on silly things, but we do need it to, pay subscriptions to do the work. And like you mentioned, the voters pamphlet will cost money. Print materials, for our chapters, the state party reimburses chapters when they print flyers and do things like that. So those costs add up, and we'd rather not ask our volunteers to shoulder that financial burden. So if you can donate even a few bucks, it will add up and it'll be helpful. So 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever is within your means. But yeah, we would appreciate a little help there.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Justin. And with that, if there's no other, Logan, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Logan.
Okay. So now that we have a little extra time, I just wanted to pop in and say what I've said in the chat in regard to organizing around the issues of our neighbors being taken from us in our communities. And it is really frustrating that happened to you, Justin, with the speech situation. I would still really encourage you to show up if possible. I know that it's really difficult to maintain these relationships sometimes with other organizations in these situations, but ultimately we do have to remember that the number one priority is protecting our neighbors. And if you don't feel comfortable showing up to a protest or to the ICE facility or anything like that, just go out and meet your freaking neighbors. Go talk to people. And that sounds cliche and crazy, but go freaking have a barbecue in the park and just go offer free food to people, or go door to door in your neighborhood and just ask people if they know what's going on. If they are doing anything, and get to know the people around you, because that's not only how we can help build the Green Party and let people know that we are out there in the community doing stuff, but it's also how we escape the perception that the Green Party just runs for elections. Because I know that people within the Green Party do get out in the community, but it's oftentimes not a priority to prioritize making it a Green Party event or slapping our label all over it. And I respect that approach a lot, but it's also we are at a point, unfortunately, where we don't really have any other choice but to just get to know the people around us and organize in that capacity, and it can look a lot of different ways, but don't be afraid to just talk to people.
Amen. And it just hit the Lynn Benton chapter area. They just took a member from their community. I just saw James send an email out about it from their chapter earlier.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Logan. And anybody else have any final remarks before we call it a day with 9 minutes to go? Thank you, Amy, for your timekeeping. You did a great job. I appreciate it.
Is Chris Henry still with us?
You're welcome.
Is Chris still here?
If folks want to talk a little more loosely, should we end the recording at this point?
Sure, I'll go ahead and stop it.